Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's disc review, we are looking at the MD3 from Discmania. Let's go ahead and kick things off by taking a look at the profile and the specs. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and smash that like button. So for the profile of the MD3, it has a slightly raised dome, at least in this S-line plastic, and does have that blunt nose. Compared to the C-line Chroma, you can see the S-line, again, that slight little bit of dome in the middle of the flight plate, versus the Chroma had an extremely flat flight plate. Which is awesome to have that variety because that little bit of dome makes the S-line feel very comfortable for backhand, while the flatness for the Chroma makes it feel better for forehand. Let's go ahead and check out the flight, first jumping into the flight numbers. Now the MD3 is a mid-range at a speed 5, glide 5, turn 0, and a fade of 1. So I would expect this to be a very neutral flying mid with maybe just a little bit of a hyzer finish. When I do throw the MD3 on a hyzer, at least on a steep hyzer as you're seeing here, it is going to hold that arcing hyzer line. You do notice a little bit of a flip, just very slight flip, but it still holds that spike hyzer line pretty well. And then once you put it on a slight hyzer, you can get it to pop up that nice little flip up to flat, get it to ride very, very straight just then as it slows down. We'll have a real gentle hyzer finish, especially if you throw it lower. If you do throw it up high, you may get a little bit more of a significant fade. Once you do start throwing the MD3 flat, you are going to notice it having just the most gentle of a panning turn before about 3/4, 4/5 of the way through the flight. It's then going to check up and then have a decent predictable hyzer finish. Not an extremely strong finish, but a nice predictable finish that at least will keep you away from any trouble, something that you can depend on. And then once you do start throwing it on a slight and hyzer line, it's going to hold it that angle for a good amount of time. It's not going to be a mid-range that's going to like turn and burn or really flip over. It has good torque resistance, so it's just going to more hold that angle of release even on those subtle anhyzer lines or even on those bigger, steeper anhyzer lines. You can see there is no inkling it's going to turn over into a roller. It just holds that anhyzer line, nice sweeping pan, and then just towards the very end of the flight, that late stability kicks in, levels itself out, and depending on the height, has a little bit of a finish back. Overall, just making the MD3 a great neutral flyer that is just going to hold the line that you put it on. Now, I did say the MD3 had good torque resistance. It does have good torque resistance, but more just enough. When it comes to forehand, it's decent. It's something that it's going to be more finesse. You're not going to want to power throw this on a forehand, but it is something if you're in a tight spot, kind of a short run up, and you're just kind of using it more as like a finesse, just more wrist, not really much arm or putting a lot of power into it, then it can work pretty well. But if you do try to power into it, just expect that it's going to get a lot of turn in it. Depending how much power you put into it, maybe it'll fight its way back, but still, this is more of a finesse forehanding mid-range. So what kind of shots do I like throwing the MD3 on out on the course? Well, first, it holds that hyzer very well for my arm speed, so I do like to throw it on those nice arcing hyzers where I need it to kind of keep that forward push instead of a really hard dump. But then also very straight shots, kind of more tunnels that have that left to right finish. I like it because it's going to have that little bit of a baby hyzer at the very end of the flight. Also, just really gentle flex shots I can put on the slightest of anhyzer lines to kind of get around some danger on the left hand side or some trees and then have a little bit of a hyzer finish. And for forehands, it's gonna pop up very well. Don't mind that tree that it hit, but I do like it for those kind of pop-up forehands that gets a little bit of a turn but then has that hyzer finish. Now, taking a look at the different plastic types, because the MD3 does come in a good variety. I had it in the C-line, the S-line, and also the C-line Chroma. And honestly, the Chroma C-line, this is the most overstable one that I had, just a tick more than the regular C-line. This was very, very flat, very much also like the C-line's very flat, but that extra torque resistance means that it worked so much better when it came to forehand. It feels good on forehand, and that torque resistance just made it such a predictable forehanding disc. But also means it'll be great in the wind as well. Also, the C-line, not to be outdone, this is very similar to the Chroma, but just maybe a tick less stability. It got just a little bit more flip up when throwing forehand, but it still held backhand and forehand shots very, very well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the lefty lines, first with the S line, and the S line very straight, just a little bit of a pan in the middle part of the flight before a nice little predictable finish. Then you have the C line with its extra torque resistance. It holds straighter, doesn't get any pan in the middle of the flight, and checks up quite a bit sooner than the S line does and has a really substantial fade. And then the Chroma C line, which overall is very comparable to the regular C line. I just think you're going to notice more of the difference when thrown at higher speeds or on forehand with that extra torque. The C line is just going to get a little bit more pop, maybe a little bit more of a panning turn, maybe kind of like how the S line flies for me. That's how the C line is going to fly for much faster arms, versus the Chroma C is going to hold things just a little bit better for those bigger arms, which is great to have that variety, because even for those of us with slower arms, we can make use of the S line's workability. It's again a little bit more understable, holds the line of release. Then the C line in the Chroma is going to be better for those wind fighting days or for forehand shots. So overall, the MD3, I can see why it's very popular. It is a great neutral disc that has a little bit of a fight at the end, a little bit of predictability. So overall, a great solid mid-range for those straight to slightly overstable shots, no matter what your arm speed is. As always, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, smash that like button. Also, if you need to buy discs, go to GreatLakesDisc.com. They have amazing selection, great customer service. They are the best out there. You will not be disappointed. Thank you again, everyone. Until the next time, keep banging chains.